Hey, what's going on? I'm Melton Whitley. I work for Earl Owens, and I'm going to show you guys how to do a DVIR today. First, this is what we're going to do. We're going to select the vehicle. So today we have, the lucky truck is going to be 54. So we're going to scroll to 54 right there. It says it's nearby. We're going to confirm. We're going to hit done. I'm going to review segment for the unclaimed time that we have on here. We're going to hit select. I know I didn't work any of these hours because the trucks were moved overnight, so you're going to hit select. And you're going to say, not mine, because that's not what you drove that night. You hit confirm. Segment was not yours. And then you're going to go to done. And now we're going to go on duty. Once you're on duty, you're going to hit save. It's showing the location of where we are. We're going to go to DVR. We're creating a DVR now. So you go to create a DVR. Okay. Now it's going to say vehicle only because we're not driving a tractor trailer diesel. We're just driving a regular box truck. So what you're going to do is vehicle only. And now you're going to go to pre-trip. We're going to click on that. All right, now we're going to move to the vehicle. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the vehicle out. It's sitting on level ground, so we can make sure it's not leaning to one side or the other. That would indicate that the axles or there's a problem with the tires. This truck's okay because everything's nice and leveled on it. So what we're going to do first, we're going to approach the front cab. While we're doing that, I'm going to check the lights. I'm going to check all the parts. I'm going to check and make sure the mud flaps are there. We're going to go back through that and check everything. And we're going to turn the lights on. Got the headlights right here. These lights are on. I'm going to come around and check the lights in the front. Both lights are okay. All the clearance lights and beacons are okay. I'm going to unlatch this side. You got to be careful with these latches too. Make sure the rubber's not cracked because sometimes these things will crack and these won't latch right. I'm going to come to this side. We're going to unlatch this side. And we're going to push it up. All right. This is going to be the engine compartment. First thing we want to check the coolant level, make sure the coolant level is okay. So what we're going to do is check the radiator, make sure there's radiator fluid in it, make sure the cap's correctly sealed, make sure the radiator's not cracked. Then we want to go to the oil. I'm going to check the oils right here on the dipstick. I'm going to pull this out. Usually have a cloth or something available. Make sure that it's nice and clear before you put it back in and check it. Some of these trucks are made different to where is in different locations, and it doesn't really go down easy. All right. So you want to check right there is in between the lines of max, a full. That's okay. So we're going to go ahead and put that back in. Next, we want to check transmission fluid, but for that we're going to come back to it though, because what you want to do is you want to check it while the engine's running. We're going to go through, we're going to check the steering. Usually what I do is I'll mark off each part that I check so that it shows you inspected it. If you ever get pulled over by the DOT, say, hey, I just did an inspection on this vehicle. Next, we're going to check the steering. Make sure all the bolts are bolted on. Make sure all the bolts have their clamps on it. We're going to mark this off. Next, we're going to check the leaf springs. That's okay. Show that you inspected. Then you want to check the shocks right here. Shocks are okay. So we're going to go ahead and mark that off though. Then you want to come around. You want to check the brake canister right in here. You want to make sure that all the bolts and everything are in place. You want to check and make sure that all the hoses are not cracked and going to the correct location. I'm going to go in the inner wall right here, and you want to make sure that the rim isn't cracked. You want to make sure that the tires are okay. Make sure no bulges, make sure no wires showing, make sure no cracks. And then we're gonna mark this up right here, and that's okay. The inner rim's okay. Then you wanna come to the outer rim and make sure the outer rim's okay. No dings, no dents, and the tire's okay. And then you wanna check the lug nuts. Each one of the lug nuts, it'll indicate if it's not fully tightened, because you'll see a discoloration right here, a brown discharge or a black discharge from it being not properly sealed. So all these look okay. You want to move to the hub oil. You want to check your hub oil. You can pull this cap off, and if you get real close, you can see in here where there's oil inside and it's nice and level, not overflowing. The hub oil's okay. You want to put the cap back on that. A lot of other vehicles, you don't have to take the cap off because it's clear, so you can just see through the cap. You still want to clean it just to show that you inspected that part of the vehicle. All right, we're going to move back to the engine. You want to check the timing belt. Make sure the timing belt's nice and secure, and that's okay. Now we're going to move to the other side of the vehicle. We're on the passenger side now, so what you want to do, you want to make sure that the air filter, sensors and everything are okay and clean. This one's okay. You want to check your radiator, not your radiator fluid, but you want to check your window wash fluid, make sure that's okay. Everything's okay as far as that goes. And basically you want to do the same thing that we did on this side with the hub oil and the lug nuts. You want to go around, check the lug nuts, no discoloration. Check the hub oil. Oil's inside. And we're going to check the transmission fluid. So what you want to do, we're going to climb up in the cab, your 3-point stance. And we're going to check the transmission fluid. Transmission fluid is about the same as the oil. You check it when the engine's running so you get the proper reading on it. I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to put it right back in. Now upon inspection, it'll see right there where it says cold or hot. We're checking it while it's hot though, so we're letting it heat up. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to inspect the rest of the tires, but since we're going to be back there, we're going to go ahead and close this part up because we're finished with the front of the truck. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to do a full walk around, and just the same way we check the front tires, we're going to check the back. So what we're going to do on the passenger side, we're going to come around, we're going to check the tire, make sure no bulges, make sure the tires have the right amount of tread, make sure the mud flap's on, nice and secure. We're going to check the lug nuts, make sure there's no discolorization. You want to check the tire pressure. And then what you want to do is you want to come around here and check in between the tires, make sure there's no bulges in between the tires, no debris, nothing that will get wedged in and cause these tires to overheat. You want to check the leaf spring, everything's okay, the frame's okay. And then we're going to do the same process with the other side. While you're coming around, you want to inspect the top, make sure there's no dents. Check the mud flap, and you want to check the tire. You want to check the rim, you want to check the lug nuts, make sure there's no dings or bends in the rim. And you want to get in between, you want to check the tires, make sure there's no debris inside. You want to check the leaf spring, check the brake canister, and since you're at a better angle right here, you want to check the hoses going to the brake canister, make sure there's no cracks or anything. Everything's okay. So we're done as far as that part goes. What we're going to do next, we're going to start the vehicle up, check the signals. We're going to check the driver's side first, the passenger side first. We're going to go to the front. Headlights are on. Check the passenger side turn signals, one's right here. I'm going to check the license plate and make sure everything's secure and bolted. We're going to go to the back. We're going to check the mirror, make sure the mirror's secure. You want to make sure the batteries, these are latched down. This is covering the battery. You want to make sure these are latched. You want to come through and check the hoses for the airline. All these are attached, no cracks. I'm going to walk our way to the back. You want to also check and make sure your truck marked, your reflectors are on and clear. clean. Everything's pretty much clean on this. We'll come to the back. You're gonna check the rear turn signal. Well, since you're also back here and the truck's running, come back and check the lift gate. Make sure the lift gate's operating. And if you have a latch to lock your lift gate, lock your lift gate. We're gonna come back around to the front and we're gonna check the driver's turn signals. We're also gonna check and make sure our bright lights are working. We're gonna come around the front. We're gonna check the front turn signal, check the marker light, make sure the marker lights are running okay on this side. Make sure all the reflectors are okay. Reflectors okay. We also have right here the fill filter. Just want to go through and make sure the fill filter, everything's okay. It's a clear fill filter, so you should be able to see on the inside. If not, make sure you have a towel. You can just clean around it. Fill filter's working. It's not broken, no cracks, no chips. You want to make sure the fill tank, the straps are properly secure. Every once in a while these will get loose, but those straps are holding okay. If you see any defects on the vehicle, which we're going to go through right now, you're going to go to add defects, which is right here, and it's going to have a list. You have battery, belts, defrost heater, and a whole list of other things that you can actually click on if you find anything wrong with the vehicle. You want to go through the rear. You want to look for leaking oil near the rear of the transmission. You want to move to the front, and you want to check underneath the engine for leaks. Now, if you do find something that's leaking from the vehicle, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the list. We'll say radiator. If you find an issue with radiator fluid leaking, click on radiator. It's going to want a picture. Go to photo, and we're going to go underneath. You want to get two pictures. You want to get a picture of underneath. After you have the hood up, you go to the second picture of what's causing the problem. Say it's the radiator. Now we click radiator, take another picture, and add that picture to it. So you have that right there, and it's going to want to comment. For this, we'll say radiator leak. Now, if there's a major issue that you know you're not going to be able to drive this vehicle or your vehicle, you're going to want to contact Penske. Something like a fuel tank rupture or like a reservoir leak with the radiator fluid. Anything like that, you want to put vehicle. You're going to want to go back to vehicle unsafe, and you're going to click on next. You're going to contact Penske, or you're going to notify a supervisor that that vehicle is unsafe to drive. Do not drive that vehicle until that issue is fixed. Check the rear marker lights. Turn signal's working okay. We already checked the lift gate. The lift gate's okay. And that should be it for the outside. Once we're finished with that, you're going to go inside your vehicle. You're going to make sure you have your fire extinguisher. Check. Make sure you have your reflectors. Check. And that's pretty much it for the outside vehicle inspection. So we're going to go back to Sam's here. We did our inspections. We checked the front driver's side. We checked the passenger side, and we checked the rear of the truck. Everything's okay. The vehicle's safe to drive. Hit safe to drive. Next, and you're ready to go. Certified submit. And that's how you do an outside vehicle inspection for the DOT on your Shamsier phone.